What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of Pizza and Pixels. I'm one of your hosts, Josh.
And I'm JP.
And this is the podcast where we order a pizza and talk about video games until that pizza shows up. It goes live every Saturday, or every other Saturday, at noon Eastern. And it is available on youtube.com/HexxedPhenom and Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, really any podcast service of your choosing.
I just love hearing that.
Me too.
It's fascinating. You should say it one more time.
It's available every other Saturday at noon Eastern on youtube.com/HexxedPhenom and also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, and Stitcher.
Even better the second time. Even better.
But before we get into actually talking about the games, we got to order the pizza, so that's what we're going to do now.
It's going to be the fucking pizza of the week.
The pizza of the week.
You know, I had a dream the other day about
pizza?
What pizza combinations I could possibly make, and I lost track after about 15. And it was good. It was good. I can't wait to get it done right here. Live that dream. Be a pizza boy. Some good brew, but some damn good pizza. So we're going to
better
do
than being a chain boy.
Chain boy.
I'm sure we'll talk about that at some point on the HPJP show.
So we got the $5.90. All right, good. All right, good. Very good.
We got that coupon all ready for us.
Handmade pan. Oh wait, hand toss is the regular, right?
Yeah.
Hand toss. Okay, yeah, we'll just do that. All right, cool. All right, so I'm gonna do one of my personal favorites. I'm gonna do mushrooms and banana peppers.
Pretty good. Sounds pretty good.
A very different kind of pizza, but you know, I like a bunch of stuff, so yeah, it blends pretty well.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty easy one. Banana peppers and mushrooms. We're getting her done. And then no, I do not want extra cheese on that, but that sounds great. Here's your phone, sir. As I almost smacked the condenser mic.
All right, I'm gonna go.
All right,
let's
see what the man is gonna decide on. The man, not Becky Lynch, will decide on.
I'm gonna go with bacon and jalapeno peppers.
Ooh, the bacon man. I feel like every single pizza may include bacon that you may decide on. Do you think
bacon's
that's
a really good, really good pizza topping?
Bacon's pretty cool. It can kill you fast, but it depends on how you eat it and how much of it. You know, speaking of which, that meme I saw the other day about how other people in the world view Americans at breakfast. It's just literally a giant plate of bacon and a Glock. And then you see see orange juice, and you see some waffles on the side and some bread, and I'm just like, what? A Glock and a mound of bacon. Like, there is so much bacon on this plate that I'm just like, wow, that could hold me over for an entire day. That's like 4 packs of bacon right there.
Yeah, if I could find the meme, I'll put it up on screen for you video viewers. But yeah.
I have a question for you, sir.
What's up?
I have a $20 bill on me, and the total is $20.63. Do you have enough for the tip, by chance? Somewhere.
I don't think I have any cash on me.
Oh, shit.
I mean, I have change in that jar back there, but I don't know how much it is.
We just crack it open. We're just like...
It's like, all right, guys, instead of talking about video games, we're counting change today.
We're counting change with Chain Boy.
We're counting change with Chain Boy. It's our new podcast, Change with Chain Boy.
Well, here you see that we have a quarter from 2000 that depicts Minnesota State. Okay, let's see. Well, I'm going to have to add another card here. I'm going to have to do it. Well, actually, wait a minute. Oh, you know what? I don't think I have to. I have about $23 I can spot. That sounds about right. Sounds about right. I think we should do that. Let's say screw it and just get it done.
It's like, JP, you only have $2. Cash upon delivery is the top one.
Yeah, I only have $20. Oh, I see. So you deleted the other card?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay. All right. We're gonna get it done.
Bad, but
we're gonna add a new card right here, right now, as we get into this topic. But that is our pizzas for this week's podcast. It's gonna be goddamn delectable from Domino's themselves.
Exactly, and while JP's doing that, I'm going to talk to you guys and kind of introduce what our topic is for this week. Now,
Mr. Mosquito.
Mr. Mosquito, we're talking about the best video game of all time. No.
The best video game you have never heard of. Today on Pizza Pixels.
But I kind of wanted to save this until a little bit later, but there's a big thing that came up in the news this week that kind of made me want to do this topic for this episode, and that's that, if you guys didn't know, recently Sony and PlayStation filed a patent for a console that is backwards compatible with PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2, and PlayStation 1 games, all at once.
If that doesn't sound amazing and kind of like how the original PS3 was, then I don't know what does.
It sounds amazing, and the only thing that I hope is that it doesn't make the console extremely expensive. Because that would kind of suck. But, I mean, I don't know. It's a very, very promising thing. Could you imagine if the PS5 launches on day one, being able to play every single PlayStation game ever?
I have a feeling they're just
I guess technically with the
gonna
exclusion
do
of
it.
PSP and PS Vita, but
I mean, technology and the cloud has become so evolved that it really isn't that far-fetched as it was in the past. It's actually very easy to reach out and be like, I want this.
I think
it's definitely doable.
because, well, with the PS3, I know one of the main reasons it was so expensive was because they had essentially built inside of the original like fat PS3s that were PS2 backwards compatible. There was the entire PS3 like motherboard, and then there was the smaller like PS2 slim motherboard also inside the box. So it was basically like buying two consoles in one, which is why it was so expensive. But I feel like with technology now, well, PS4 games are basically like PC games, so they should be backwards compatible regardless, just because of the architecture they're built on. But I think they could easily just have like digital emulators installed on the console day one for PS3, PS2, and PS1.
Oh, it could easily be done. It could be like a solid state implement, practically. They could just put it right there on the motherboard and be like, there you go. You are the emulator for these games. Get her done. A pizza maker has began making her custom order at 6:55 p.m.
Well, by God, we better get into the topic. So our topic this week, guys, is we're doing another top 5 list. And it's going to be the top 5 games that we want to see get a sequel or to be remastered.
Yep. It's going to be interesting.
The rules that we set for this is we're not going to talk about games that are pretty obviously getting sequels or getting remasters soon. So nothing like Spider-Man or God of War or
Spider-Man 2.
The Last of Us or whatever. So, with that being said, JP, would you like to start us off?
All right, so my number 5 is going to be a heavily rumored remaster. And if you liked Far Cry 5, you may have noticed the reference of Driver San Francisco. And that is a Ubisoft title. And apparently, it may in fact be remastered. But on my list, number 5 is in fact Driver San Francisco Remastered. Have you played that series?
Honestly,
it's very
no.
nostalgic to me, personally.
I've heard many great things about that series, and I think the most I've ever played of it was, I think I played the demo for Driver San Francisco, and it was a really awesome concept, and it was really fun from what I played, but I never got to actually play the full game.
So the cool part was, so this is a throwback for a lot of people that played this on PS1, but Driver, The World Is Yours came out, and that was set in San Francisco, and yeah, pretty easy game concept of just raising hell, and then Driver 2 took it. You could walk on foot. It was insane. So Driver San Francisco, they went back to where it began. And it was like a full circle. So I think seeing a remastered would be really cool. Maybe they could even do something nostalgic with that title to celebrate the original game as well. Because it's been, well, like 97, 98 it came out. So it's been 20 years.
Yeah, when did Driver San Francisco, that was like a PS3 game, right?
Yeah, Driver San Francisco came out in like 2006 or something like that. It was around the time of Paradise City, which is now remastered by Ubisoft. So I'm really hoping we get that remaster. What's your number 5, sir?
Well, first I have honorable mentions. So just to get it out of the way, Crash and Spyro, they need true sequels. As much as I love, that we're getting CTR remastered, I love that.
Oh, I'm so
But
pumped.
we need a true Crash 4 and a true Spyro 4.
Damn right.
And I'm just going to move on from that quick because I'm pretty sure we're going to be getting them. And I would wager that we'll probably see a Crash sequel by Vicarious Visions within the first year and a half of the PS5 being out. Because, the last thing that they put out was they put out Future Tense for Crash 3 on the Insane Trilogy.
I feel like we're
and
going
now
to get some more
Beanox is
DLC
making
for
CTR.
that. Yeah.
I feel like they might be just full steam ahead on Crash 4.
Speaking of
Hopefully.
Beanox, isn't Beanox making the Modern Warfare 2 remaster that now apparently will have multiplayer because people found out about the rumor and did not want to buy it?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's another rumor for another time.
I don't know. I know Beanox right now is working on CTR, though.
Yeah, they're in fact doing CTR, though. Rumored for Modern Warfare, apparently.
But my number 5 is another racing game, and that is Midnight Club.
Oh, that's a classic.
Now, to be honest, I don't really have a preference on if I want a remaster or a sequel.
Exactly.
I would take either or at this point.
I feel you on my number 1 for my list, guaranteed.
But Midnight Club is just one of my favorite racing series, and it's definitely one of the racing games that shaped my taste in racing games. It was one of the first street racing games that I played that I was like, holy crap, this is awesome.
I got it.
And of course that led to Need for Speed Underground 2, and then to Midnight Club 3, which I think they came out around the same time, I think.
Just about the
and
same
then
time.
Midnight Club LA I played through so many different times. I know a lot of people, I know there was some, back and forth on the community on if that game was good or not. I really liked it. Unfortunately, Rockstar dropped the rights to the game, so I don't know if or when we'll ever see it again. But I wouldn't mind either a remaster or a sequel.
We have been seeing... I don't know how true it is. There was a photo posted that showed a trash can from Midnight Club, and it had a Rockstar sticker on it. It was like a street view.
I did see some supposed leaked screenshot of a Midnight Club remastered, but it could have easily been something that somebody fan-made or whatever.
It could have easily been a fantasy. Midnight Club is a classic. That was like my first game for the PS2 besides SmackDown. Just bring it.
I love the Midnight Club games.
Yes. Oh, hell yeah. No doubt some classic games. So, moving on to number 4. Here's another throwback. So, Stuntman Remastered. This series, for people that don't know what it's about, it's basically in the title. You're a stuntman for movie crews, whatever, and you basically go on, you do a bunch of different stunts. I feel like over the years they went through movie catalogs practically for what to do.
Yeah, it was, a lot of them were like loosely, or sometimes not so loosely, based on the real action movies of like the time.
Yeah, that was the best part, and I feel like having a remaster of that game would be pretty cool, especially with the power of the consoles. Imagine the destruction, the fire, the explosions. It would just be a game that people would probably jizz their pants over playing. The
coolest thing to me about what could be possible down on the current consoles isn't even the graphics or anything. It's the fact that you'd now be able to easily share your like replays.
And it'd be so cool, and like you could even make your own stunts. You could share stunts around the world. You could
like
do
a stunt creator. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I could see a stunt creator, and of course the original game trilogy remaster. That'd be so cool.
Yeah, I love the Stuntman games. They were so dope, dude.
I remember playing them and I was like, oh my god, is this even possible in real life? This is like 2002, the first one came out, so I was like 11 years old. I'm like, whoa, you could do this in a car?
Yeah.
It was just something so unbelievable. It just changed your life.
Yeah, but basically, if you guys don't know, to explain it a little bit more in depth, it was, so basically you'd start out in whatever car it was for whatever movie you were in, and they'd give you a list of objectives, and you'd have to go in order, like past the camera crew and stuff, and it'd be like, oh, break through the wall, do a 180, do a drift or whatever, and it'd be like all this stuff, and they'd do them all in order, and it was awesome.
And then they could start combining stunts, like you'd have to do like a crazy 360 donut and then fly off a ramp and then wall ride. It was like, okay, this is getting really crazy. So it came down to who could nail the stunt the best.
Yeah.
Who was the best.
That was so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
But my number 4 is Call of Duty Black Ops 2. And now, of course, this is in an ideal world where, you know, Activision's not going to shove microtransactions down our throat. They're not going to mess with anything. They're not going to screw it up like they did Modern Warfare Remastered. You know, this is this is basically if they just took the existing game right now and only changed the graphics of it. And to be fair, I wouldn't even care if they didn't change the graphics. If they just gave me Black Ops 2,
and we all know
I'd be fine.
We all know they would totally just turn it into a microtransaction disaster. That's the worst.
I mean, that's kind of where the microtransactions started because they had all those personalization packs, but they were only $2, and you got a camo for every single gun in the game. You got a calling card, I think an emblem, and 3 reticles for $2. And now they sell just the reticle for $2.
They sell an inside-out red dot sight for $2.
Yeah, a hollowed-out red dot sight for $2.
It's like the dumbest thing ever, and they kind of deserve to get thrown to whoever it may be that can stop them from doing that shit.
But to me, a lot of people won't agree with this. Some of you will. But to me, Black Ops 2 just overall was my favorite and still is my favorite Call of Duty game.
It was a well-rounded Call of Duty, though.
Modern Warfare 2 was amazing, and I'm sure that's going to be the main argument of like, no, Modern Warfare 2 is the best. Modern Warfare 2, I absolutely loved the multiplayer and I loved the campaign, but to me, the Spec Ops missions didn't do it for me. Whereas Black Ops 2, you have an amazing multiplayer, an amazing campaign, and of course an amazing zombies mode. Which, Black Ops 2, I was thinking about it, is the only, well, other than World at War, is the only Black Ops game, I'll say, where every single DLC map was amazing, in my opinion. I loved Die Rise, I loved Nuketown, I loved Mob of the Dead, I loved Buried, I loved Origins. It was just, the only map I didn't like in that game was Transit.
I think the only thing I could say bad about Black Ops 2 is Strike Force missions. Those were the worst missions I've probably ever seen.
Those were the worst missions in the campaign, but I'm pretty sure they were, other than the first one, they were all optional.
They were all optional, unless you wanted to get the trophies like we did, and we had so much fun with those Strike Force missions. Oh,
I mean, I thought they were bad, and then I platinumed Black Ops 3, so nothing compares.
So we really went all out with Black Ops, needless to say.
But yeah. So, JP, what's your number 3?
Okay, so my number 3 is on the same exact level. When I say it, you guys will all understand. It's going to be Rock Band 5 and Guitar Hero 7. Now, this is in a world where Activision gets their head out of their ass and actually sees the series for what it is. And we're not counting Guitar Hero Live because that wasn't even the same developers. That was the worst Tap Tap Revenge makeover I've ever seen in my life. So the funny part is Rock Band 4 is on fire right now. Harmonix has beat Guitar Hero, which is like unheard of. I never thought I'd even be saying that. They played the safe route in the last console generation, and whereas Rock Band went with the original layout, the carryover DLC, and you could use your old legacy instruments, Activision said, fuck you.
Fuck you. New instrument.
They said, fuck you.
No
new
backwards compatibility with your old songs.
Yeah, no backwards compatibility. You have to re-buy your songs if you need them. And then they launched some really shitty Guitar Hero TV thing that they pulled the plug on 2 years after, in December recently, and that killed Guitar Hero once again.
I mean, a testament to how well Rock Band did with their... with their game this generation.
It's impressive.
I don't even, what the hell year did that game come out? 2015?
Okay, so 2015 was, 2015, and then that's when it all started, I'm pretty sure. At least
literally like 3 months ago, I bought a Rock Band guitar and started playing Rock Band 4.
Exactly, so he started doing that. And at first the game made slow progress, and then they started bringing everything they should have had, and now they're bringing back the old Rock Band Network songs from last gen. And basically they took the safe route and the smart route, and Guitar Hero died for the second time. So
you know what they say, third time's a charm.
Third time's the charm. They got buried under concrete twice. Can they get out again? We'll see. So it's going to be interesting. I don't think it's going to happen until PS5. Yeah. Personally, because I don't think we need that many rhythm games. That's the reason why.
I mean, especially considering I feel like it'd probably be almost like gaming suicide to do
that again.
To put out Because, I mean, if they go back to the roots, they're going to have to go back to the original guitar layout. And presumably, knowing Activision, it won't be backwards compatible again with the PS3 instruments.
Like, there's
so you'll
so
have
many
to buy
problems.
another, like, $150 bundle with a guitar.
Yeah, so in a real
And so people aren't
world-
going to want to do that when the new console's coming out in a couple of months.
Yeah, the thing I'm wondering is I think they should just go with legacy instruments because it's very easily to enable that. And without Guitar Hero and Rock Band, I wouldn't have moved on to playing a real instrument. And even though I play a real instrument, diverse instruments, playing the plastic controller, it's just so nostalgic and anybody could jump in and play it. That's the best part. So I think once when the PS5 comes out, I should say, Rock Band will just have carryover, of course. Activision's going to have to try to pull it out again. I would love to see Guitar Hero 7 for what it was. It looked cool before it got scrapped, but yeah, that would be my. We're on number 3, right? Number 3,
yeah.
I believe. Yep, that would be my number 3.
So my number 3 is what I'd say is my third favorite platformer of all time, behind the Crash and Spyro games, and that's Super Mario Galaxy.
Oh my God, yes!
And
classic.
I would love if they ported Galaxy 1 and 2 to the Switch. But I would also love, I think maybe even more, if they did a Super Mario Galaxy 3 on the Switch. Because seeing what they did with those games on the Wii, I would just love to see what the progression of that would be 2 console generations later on the Nintendo Switch.
Be impressive.
So, honestly, whichever route they go, or maybe even both, if they ever do anything with Super Mario Galaxy again, because I know Nintendo doesn't typically like to retread old ground like that. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. They're kind of weird with it.
Yep.
But oh my God, I would die for either a sequel or a remaster.
I feel like at this point, I don't see why they wouldn't remaster, because if you're trying, I mean, they have the same flow of ideas, it seems, every generation with their main series. So if you started remastering them, people would easily pay the money. I mean, they're masters of compression.
Yeah.
They could pull it off on the Switch, definitely. So I would like to see that. Like Sunshine, Galaxy, like just all those classic games remastered would be pretty cool.
Yeah. I loved Galaxy so much. I never went through and like 100% of them, but they were so much fun. I would love to see them come back on the Nintendo Switch or a sequel, whichever.
Exactly. Yeah.
So JP, what's your number 2?
So my number 2, we're going back again, and we really tried to give some original remaster ideas, and honestly, a lot of these I don't know how they haven't happened yet, or even sequel ideas. But the thing I'm thinking of, I have another remaster in mind, and that is the Frogger Collection, because there was 3 main Frogger games, and the first was the best. And then it got a little cheesy, but the levels were just so cool with the platforming, and I think it really did a lot for the series back then. A lot for the console. Frogger was like my first game on the PlayStation, practically, besides NASCAR and Spyro and all that, and it'd be kind of cool to see the Frogger series actually get back into action, because it seems like they haven't done anything besides Buyers had it for PS3. It was like Frogger Arcade or something.
Yeah, there was some sort of PS3 version.
Yeah, it was kind of like a cop out. So if they remastered Frogger, I would definitely 110% buy that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I don't think I ever played any of the PS1 versions. I know I played like the original version, and then I played the one at Buyer's house, but I don't think I've played any of the PS1 ones.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's an old classic, and I can't even believe it took off the way it did. Like, it had a story and everything, and I was like, whoa. It was really unfucking believable. So what's your pick?
So my number 2 is one that I kind of recently regained a spark for wanting to see a new entry in this series. And that is SSX.
Yes. We need something, and it's kind of weird that it hasn't happened.
I believe, because there was SSX 3, right, and then the series dropped off, and then they tried to reboot it for PS3, and that kind of failed.
I can't even believe that failed, actually.
Me too.
Wow.
I don't remember. I remember playing the demo, but I don't remember if it was good or not. But
and then there's the classic Run DMC song, that would be blasting in your ear. It just made it even better. You're just like, yo, I'm going to pull off the biggest trick ever right now.
I would love to see I mean, obviously, I would love to see if they did like SSX 1 Tricky and 3 Remastered.
Oh my god, can you imagine that for a second? That wow,
But
how incredible would that be?
I'm not gonna lie, I would also not mind like a true SSX 4.
That'd be pretty cool as well. I mean,
but
as long as we get more of it.
the only sad thing is I'm pretty sure the SSX license is still owned by EA, so we already know we're gonna get boned by microtransactions if they ever do it.
Oh man, you're right. Oh shit.
And that's kind of the same case for my number one as well. But we'll get to it.
Oh man, just hearing EA, it's like, ooh.
Yeah, it really puts a...
Shit, I forgot they own the rights to that. Oh,
Yep.
well, hopefully they lose the rights to that too, because that would be great. And we can get a real SXX game, boy. So, my number one is kind of like how Josh was describing the game that he needed either a remaster or a sequel for. It could really go whatever, but I think both of these should happen. I would love to see a Twisted Metal sequel, because the PS3 game was completely disappointing. And I would like to see a remaster of Twisted Metal Black. Those are two games that could easily define the next generation, and one being from the 2000s could actually motivate people to make games that grotesque and that barbaric. At the time, it was cutting edge, people never have seen that crap, and it was so dark, dealt with, you name it, murder, stuff like that, and you kind of felt for these people that were in that asylum, and man, for the time it came out, it just really changed everything, and then that became the first PlayStation 2 game to ever be online. It had to get re-released, and that's when the adapter came out, and it was Twisted Metal Black Online. I think they should just remaster the game in all its glory, and just make online compatibility, boom, easy sell.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Easy sell. In fact, I have bought Twisted Metal Black on the PS2. I've had Twisted Metal Black with the PS3 Twisted Metal, and I also bought Twisted Metal Black upscaled for the PS4. But I would love to have that remaster. Probably not until PS5 though, because it turns 20 in 2021. So probably PS5. David Jaffe, make it happen.
Honestly, Twisted Metal is like a big blank space in my gaming history, which kind of makes me sad. But I never played a Twisted Metal game.
The first game came out in '96.
Second
game was like 98.
Still wasn't
99.
Born. Might have been born.
Oh, then the Twisted Metal Black. I mean, here's the weird part. Jaffe Studio was Twisted Metal 1 and 2, and then they went to do another thing for the studio, and then 989 Studios took over, which was known for making like 2 Extreme, 3 Extreme, and not the Hardy Boys.
The Hardy Boys.
It was like a BMX. It was a great game, but it was just strange. You could be rollerbladers, BMXers, an arcade car, whatever, and you just race down the gates. So they started taking over the world at that point, and then they got Twisted Metal 3 and 4, and they ruined the series for the most part. And then Twisted Metal Black was Jaffe's first attempt back, so that's why they went so dark.
So do you know who owns the rights to that right now? Like what studio? Well,
Sony still owns the rights to it.
Well, I know Sony has it, but do they have like...
The studio, as of right now, even from Jaffe's mouth, he has no say in it. So I'm guessing
I know
haven't decided.
David Jaffe doesn't. I don't remember. Yeah. I don't remember what studio he's at now.
It was Eat Sleep Play. I don't know what else because then they did God of War.
Well,
or he's
a while ago. He was a part of Sony Santa Monica for God of War 1.
I was gonna say because he had a lot.
I think he was the director on God of War 1 and maybe 2. No, I don't remember.
Regardless,
David at least
Jaffe,
God of War 1.
David Jaffe is a fucking legend in gaming. There's no doubt.
I could be wrong, but I want to say the last game that he put out. I'm not even gonna say it because I'm probably gonna be wrong. So I don't know.
But yeah, if we got the thing that never made sense was the PS3 Twisted Metal. It was like too cartoony. It was kind of like they got influenced by 3 and 4 for some weird reason. Like it was great, and then you're in the story, and it just did not play like a story at all. But the story element was great. And the online, at the time, they wanted to break history as being the first game on the PS3 that you could take a base core map and you can modify it via patches immediately. And for some reason, even though this was heavily built up, it never happened. So people just said, fuck this game, and they left.
Yeah.
Myself included. So, but yeah, if we had the remaster and a sequel that was true to the series, I think that'd be pretty awesome.
It would be. It would be.
Damn right.
And I would love to get to experience Twisted Metal.
Oh my god, yeah, man. So many games got influenced by Twisted Metal nowadays. It'd be cool just to see the original
Iteration
game just come back and just kick ass again 20 years, 25 years later, no matter what the time is.
Yeah. Well, my number one is widely considered the greatest game of all time, Mr. Mosquito. Now, Mr.
I knew it was coming.
No,
it's my favorite game of all time. No, I'm totally kidding. Totally kidding. Wow.
Did you ever play Mr. Mosquito?
You know, I have not, but
let me tell you.
I've seen videos of this iconic game.
Let me tell you.
And let me tell you, we need a remaster. It was.
I'm not gonna lie. I would
totally
love to play Mr. Mosquito on Retro Redux one of these days. But
that would probably be our shortest series, but we will possibly do it. We'll be like, all right, guys, today on Retro Redux, we are stealing blood from Bobby, who is in the other room taking a nap.
When you describe the game like that, it sounds kind of badass. But then you realize you're playing as a little mosquito.
You know, could we have a game in this generation that makes a vampire and you get to just suck blood from people? That'd be kind of cool. I'd play it. I think people would outlaw it, but I think it'd be pretty cool to do.
Probably. Yeah. But in all seriousness, my number one is...
On to the real deal.
One of my personal favorite game series of all time. And that is the Skate franchise. Now, people have been begging EA to make Skate 4 for a while now.
And once again, it's in the claims of EA, so we have no idea what the hell's going on.
If it does happen, we all know it's going to be riddled with some kind of microtransactions. My theory is they'll probably have all of like the clothing items and all the customization items. I'm sure will be behind loot boxes. And you'll be able to pay for them. And I'm sure you'll have to... play and earn them and all this stupid crap. But I
think honestly though, I feel like the rumor about Tony Hawk working with another company might be in fact the next Skate game somehow. I feel like it may happen.
I would love that.
The fan base would. I mean, if you could play it both ways, which is the rumor that's being stated, you could play it arcade or realistic. You could have two different halves of the game. So I think everybody could be happy. But yeah, Tony Hawk I think could be the guy to do it. Maybe.
Yeah. I don't know what the logistics of it would be. I mean, if they're really not going to make a Skate 4 at the very least, I would love to see...
a remaster.
I would love to see a remaster of the entire trilogy, but if they had to pick just one, I'd say... Oh, God, this is so tough. I don't know. I think I like Skate 2 better as an overall game, but I think 3 made so many improvements.
I never even cared about Skate. I thought it was cool that Skate existed and Skate has history, but I've always been the arcade skateboard game player, so I went right with Tony Hawk. But for my friends that actually did skating like I used to do and then went to play Skate, I thought it was kind of cool how they made the layout for the board, and now there is a new game that is basically going to take Skate's place if they don't come back. It's on the computer. I think it's like Project Skate. Byers was actually streaming it like the other week. It's looking pretty good. A little too realistic for a video game in my opinion with the control layout, but if they did the Tony Hawk Skate thing, I would honestly give the series a try. I really would.
Yeah, I think if they were to remaster just any one of them, I would probably go with Skate 3.
Wasn't Skate 3 the one that had like all the crazy endeavors that you could do, like you launch yourself like... Well, it wasn't more of like they had the realism and they had more arcade mini games and stuff where you could just bail and fly.
Well, in Skate 2, you could also like purposefully bail, and there was challenges based around it.
Oh, okay.
But 3 took that concept and made those challenges like legitimate missions in the missions menu.
Oh, that's badass.
And they made it so that you had actual like the objectives in Skate 2 when you were bailing would just be like, oh, because you would earn points based on like how many spins you did or how many bones you broke or whatever, or how fast you were going.
So basically turned into Thrasher Skate and Destroy. That's another
I
ancient title.
think literally
I think they were influenced by that.
Well, probably, but I'm pretty sure I don't know if it was in 3, but I know in Skate 2 it was called the Hall of Meat and it was sponsored by Thrasher magazine.
Wow,
So,
wow, I'm shook. Wow, that's incredible.
but
Holy hell.
so yeah, so in Skate 2 would be like, oh, get like 10,000 points at this specific like place on the map,
And then throw
or
yourself
like,
out that window.
or like one would be like bail into a moving car or something like that. But then in
That
Skate
sounds
3,
pretty awesome.
it'd be like, you'd get like a list of like 20 different things to do to bail, like you were bailing from this one spot, like off of like a building or something like that.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, like,
And
I totally just try that just to be
it'd
an
be
idiot.
like, oh, like bail onto this object, and there'd be like an arrow pointing to it, or
Dude,
like,
wow, it's like the Jackass video game essentially. That's pretty cool.
or
pretty
like
awesome stuff.
earn like 30,000 points from the cannonball position or whatever, because you could do 4 different poses while you were bailing.
Could we have, totally random, could we have like this mechanic thrown in the Spider-Man where you have to like jump off a building and like cannonball through things? That'd be kind of cool. They could call it parkour. Yeah, that'd be interesting.
It would be.
That'd be pretty cool. Spidey.
But yeah. But the rumor with Tony Hawk working with a different company, I really hope it's EA and they do something like Tony Hawk's Skate 4.
Can you imagine if they called it Tony Hawk Skate? I think that would be, wow, that would be interesting. I feel like regardless of what they do with the concept and the title, I think the cover art should be a halfway thing where they divided down the page, probably vertically. They could do horizontal maybe, but then they just show both elements on the cover. I think that'd be really crazy. Like if they showed Tony Hawk kick flipping, but they showed an arcade version, but the other half was a realistic board and stuff, I'd be like, that's cool.
Usually the cover arts for the skate games, if I remember correctly, was just like,
Isn't
it
it?
would be like a ripped up like skate deck.
Yeah.
And it would just say like skate and then whatever the number was.
Yeah, I'm not
So
gonna
if they
lie.
could do
If
like
they did
half of like
something-
the deck, like this
Yeah, half
ripped
the-
up
half
skate
the
deck,
deck
and then the
being
other
ripped
half
up.
is like Tony Hawk doing something fucking
Yo,
crazy.
it'd be like, you know how they did Tony Hawk's American Wasteland, how they had the board? I think that'd be kind of cool if they did that, and then the other half was the skate design. I'd be like,
Yeah.
dude. Needless
I think
to say,
that
yeah.
that has potential to be really, really freaking cool. Like, I don't know.
I think Tony
how
Hawk
much-
series fell from grace recently, so I think
I'm
it'd be
sure
great to
Tony
do.
Hawk as a character would probably play a big role in like the actual story mode, but yeah, I really, really, really need skate back in my life. I
Yeah.
need.
And I need, it's like he needs skate. There we go. I almost knocked the mic right off. He needs skate, and I need Tony Hawk. So I feel like if they made a game, EA I think has enough common sense to know that that game will sell a shit ton of copies. I mean, it's the two best skating games of all time.
EA's common sense is not very high. But
I know. Unfortunately, I would love to see it happen. If you guys want to see that, put in the comments or wherever you can comment on any other thing, the podcast app, you name it. Be kind of cool to see the opinions of what your top 5 games that could happen in the future, remaster, sequel. Shoot it at us. It'd be
yeah,
kind of
guys,
cool to see.
definitely let us know down in the comments your top 5 games that you want to see either get a sequel or a remaster. But goddamn, I want Skate so bad.
The lists we made were incredible. I mean, every game is a must buy if you're into those series or remotely have heard of it, I should say.
To me, I mean, as far as I can think of, there's been probably indie ones that I'm not aware of, but as far as I know, there's only been
simulator?
one real skateboarding game on this generation of consoles, and it was Pro Skater 5. And in my opinion, it was hot garbage. I didn't like it at all.
And the interesting part is, like, I liked it, but I only liked it because I've seen how bad Robomoto did in the past. So I thought it was actually it was like they actually tried, but then it just became a disaster in development. I think they had to push it out. And
Well, that's exactly what happened.
bugs,
That's
and
because
Activision wanted
we pretty
money,
much
and yeah.
it's pretty much known at this point that Activision only put that game out because
They thought they could resurrect what was a good series, and we'll be playing.
No, it
them.
was because they were about to lose the rights to the series.
Oh, they were actually about to lose the rights.
Yeah, because
I'm
their
sure they
contract
wanted
with
that,
I guess it was with Tony Hawk. Their contract ran up within like a couple months of the game coming out.
Yeah,
So they just rushed it out.
They rushed out, and I mean, it had a lot of great elements to it. Like Robomoto actually tried because they massacred the HD remaster. It was horrible. The best part of the game, honestly, was the classic Tony Hawk Pro Skater tracks, and that's saying something. But yeah, they attempted to make this game, and they wanted to make it an MMO concept where you could just go online in a giant level and do goals, and it worked out to what they kind of thought, but they didn't think about how dingy it was kind of coming along as they had to rush through a bunch of things. Like
The
every
fact that it was
level,
always online, at least when it started, would really pissed me off.
oh, it was an online only game. Yeah, that pissed people off.
Because I remember,
and I didn't mind it because I can go and just whoop people's ass all day on there. But it became annoying when you wanted to party with your friends, and they didn't add a private lobby feature until the game already died, essentially.
yeah.
And then they tried saying DLC was coming, and the levels they added were pretty cool, but it wasn't worth paying
Didn't they
money
add
for.
like the
underground?
Didn't
the
they add the
Western.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as
Yeah,
DLC?
Like you could tell they really tried. Like they had, like you can make Officer Dick, you can make Ollie the Bum, except now he's remastered.
I
You could have
I didn't like
TMNT,
that concept of like
the
that
character
creator.
crap. I
They
wish
should have just had
did
it a
something
classic
better.
character creator like they had, and then had those secret skaters just unlocked as
Yeah,
characters of their own.
originally I thought you can unlock all these people, and then it turns out it was kind of like the old WWF games where like SmackDown 1, when you unlock somebody, you can only make them in the Create a Superstar. It was kind of like that, and
Because the worst part about that then is
Yeah.
then those people don't have their own like special tricks and stuff. It's just
Yeah.
it's just like a skin.
yeah, so you have to make the whole thing. So for Robomoto, they honestly tried. They really put it, for them, it was a good game, but in terms of Activision rushing the product to make money, I think the game could have been way better if they waited.
I mean, to be
It's
fair,
just-
I mean,
it's kind of in limbo at this point with that game. There's a lot of bad, but there's some good to it. It makes you wonder what's happening next, which is the rumor with Skate.
Yeah.
So I
I
think
only-
we'll get it.
I only played a little bit of the Tony Hawk Pro Skater Remaster or whatever, the Pro Skater HD collection, whatever the hell it was called.
It was so fucking broken. I was
But-
like, wow.
I mean, I don't know. It could have just been my personal problems, but I know I had a lot of problems with the small amount of time I spent with Pro Skater 5. I mean,
There were a
The
lot of bugs.
the first two levels worked mostly fine, and then every level after like the third stage, even on my PS4 Pro, the frame rate was just god awful.
Yeah, the frame rate is one thing they wanted to work out. Obviously, they never got the chance because of Activision, but they put out what Activision wanted, a half-ass game. I would love to see if they ever made Underground 3, if Robomoto would have the exact time and deadline to do it. I think they can make something good.
I think Activision's
But-
problem with almost all their game studios is
They don't know
put
what
harsh
they want.
deadlines on them.
Yeah, the deadlines, and like they don't know what they want, and then they just want them to throw it out, but then they want microtransactions.
Because
so-
that's the
disaster.
problem that Call of Duty's falling into,
and
and it's
honestly,
kind of easy to tell.
It's easy to tell.
Because they want them to shove more and more content into the game, but then also lock more and more content out as microtransactions at the same time, and it
But
doesn't make
yeah,
any sense.
But yet they want a 3-year dev cycle to be done, or even a 5-year in 3 years. Like they want
Well,
a game that's.
I mean,
thrown.
to be fair, I mean, I don't know much about game development. I would assume with how big their studios are that it wouldn't be
too hard.
insanely hard to do it in 3 years, but the thing that they do is they spend that first year.
I swear
like-
they just drink at the studio.
Well,
party.
it's not even that. It's because they have to be making content for the game that they just put out.
Yeah, that
So, like,
too.
for right now, for Black Ops, instead of working on Black Ops 5 or whatever the hell they're making next,
We all know it's coming.
they need to work on putting out patches, making new content, making DLC for Black Ops 4.
Yeah.
And so by the time they get to sit back and figure out what they're doing for Black Ops 5 or whatever, they only have
2
less
years.
than 2 years now.
And yeah, like, it's just I feel like if Robomoto had more time, Tony Hawk 5 would have been the game that people wanted to be for the modern generation. There's no resurrecting Tony Hawk 3, 4. Though those are gone with the 2000s, but they tried. It was a good attempt, but they got rushed into it, and
Yeah.
the game just utterly flopped, unfortunately.
Well, speaking of which, I don't even know. Like, I'm kind of surprised Activision even let Toys for Bob delay Spyro.
I'm honestly amazed because I thought for a
I mean, I'm
second-
glad,
Yeah, I'm glad
but-
they did.
I think the only reason is because I think legitimately, like, I think Spyro 3 wasn't even close to done at the time. I think that's
See,
why.
My question is,
Oh, Snowball's barking. That means the pizza must be here.
Snowball's barking. Is it the pizza monitor? I wonder.
It said they left 11 minutes ago, so the time about adds
Hopefully
up.
soon. So, the thing I didn't get now, which is speculation, there was a magazine that went out before Spyro the Dragon's Remaster happened, and they said there's going to be extra orbs and extra levels. Not in the original games, but yet we don't have them. So are they DLC?
I kind of do remember them saying that.
Yeah. Is it? Yeah, they said extra challenges, extra orbs, extra eggs, extra gems, but we never got them because I know those games like the back of my hand, and we never got them. So
This sounds dumb because I really don't remember because I'm not super familiar with Spyro 1 because that's the one I played the least. That last level after you beat everything and go into
Nasty's
Nasty's
loot.
treasure room or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Nasty's loot.
Was that in the original game?
Yep.
Okay, hold on. I don't know.
That was in the original game. Yeah, so we're waiting to see what these extra things will be. I'm assuming that will be DLC. We can only assume. I hope we get more crash levels too. All right.
All right, guys. The pizza is here.
Pizza has landed. The driver's pretty incompetent, but we got the pizza. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys. Well, actually, once I edit the audio down, I don't know if you'll be able to hear it. But my dog was barking like a freaking maniac in the background. I was like, "No, the pizza has to be here." Turns out the guy didn't ring the doorbell or call, which normally the Domino's drivers call you.
And the thing that I didn't get was we opened the door, and he has his earbuds in, listening to some kind of music. He's just looking, and then he
doesn't say anything. He just
he literally hands me the
you the
pizzas,
pizza.
and the papers are on top, and it's like he wanted me to sign the thing without holding anything, like just kind of going like that.
Yeah.
So, I had to hold the box and all that. But, yeah, and then when he went, he's just like, see ya. I'm like, see you later. All right. Yeah, that was weird. But we got the pizza. That's all that matters.
Yep.
It's going to be damn good.
But, guys, this has been our top 5 games that we want to see remastered or we want to see get a new installment. Guys, let us know down in the comments below the top 5 games that you guys want to see remastered or have a new entry into the series. But guys, this has been Pizza and Pixels, and it goes live every other Saturday at noon Eastern on youtube.com/HexxedPhenom and Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, really any podcast service around the globe.
There it goes.
And
there
of course,
again.
this is our podcast where we order a pizza, talk about video games till the pizza shows up.
And then we eat.
And then we
eat.
But thank you guys so much for joining us. And until next time, another one bites the crust.